said, my name is John Cogbill. I have the privilege of commanding the Rock Sons, which I believe is the finest brigade in the United States Army. We're only about an hour north of you up there at Fort Campbell, so you're welcome to come visit us anytime. But General Chief, great to see you, sir. Chancellor Zeppos, thanks for having us. To all the distinguished faculty, Padma, and thank you for helping accelerate this, and my good friend Kevin Galloway standing back there, who's been walking point for Vanderbilt to make this whole thing happen. I also want to introduce my Command Sergeant Major, also known as my anger translator. Also, if you don't know, if you don't understand what a Command Sergeant Major is, for those of you who serve in the Army, it needs no explanation, but if you haven't, it's the senior enlisted advisor to a commander, and absolutely the most important person in the organization. And the fact that Command Sergeant Major Crosby is here to represent the Army Futures Command says a lot. Not only because he advises and speaks for General Murray in his absence, but he also represents the non-commissioned officers and the soldiers that are such an essential part of the innovation process. So I'm really excited to see both of y'all here, and just your presence alone gives energy to what it is that we're trying to do here with Vanderbilt. So this has been an amazing partnership. It really started off, I can't take credit for it. There's a Lieutenant Shaughnessy, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on up here, buddy. I want people to see you, because this is what tactical level innovation looks like, and this is where it starts. Just turn around, hop up on stage real quick, and then I'll let you go back and eat muffins. Okay, you can go eat your muffins. This is where it starts, though. He's an artilleryman by trade, and he wanted to, he realized that they had a lot of hard-to-find parts, and there's this little wrench that you need to adjust a firing pin on a howitzer. It's about this big, it costs a lot of money, you can never find it in the motor pool. And he's like, wouldn't it be cool if I could just 3D print this thing? And somehow, he found his way down to Vanderbilt, linked up with Kevin Galloway, and they got the 3D printing machine, and they made a little wrench, and they took it back, and they adjusted the howitzer, and it worked just as good as the one that the Army probably paid $300 for. And we said, wow, this is something special. And that happened to coincide when I took command of the brigade back in 2017. And we had a vision that we wanted to tap into the collective expertise and potential of over 4,500 soldiers in order to help the Army achieve that overmatch, that strategic overmatch against our adversaries. So instead of just waiting for the Army, because at the time there was no Army Futures Command, we had a bunch of different people working in different directions trying to figure out how to maintain overmatch against our adversaries. And we realized that we were slow and bureaucratic and that we were starting to lose our advantage. So my thought was maybe what we need to do, instead of being told what to do, we need to refine this from the bottom up and leverage the talent and expertise of our soldiers, our NCOs and our junior officers, because they are the people closest to the problem. So we started to build this culture of innovation, and we set out some innovation priorities, and then one of them, we were looking for some quick wins, and there's Andrew Shaughnessy talking about additive manufacturing. We invited Kevin up to do an LPD, a leader professional development, with all of our leaders. And then we started to realize that the possibilities were endless. And if you're here for the rest of the day, you'll see a little video of Kevin blowing things up at one of our ranges, which is pretty neat. And we actually took it and made components to a special operations engineer demolitions kit. And we realized that those are also hard to get, very expensive, and can easily be made inside a 3D printing machine. And we did it, and we took it out, and we tested it, and it worked. And in the process, we made some people a little bit concerned, I guess, that maybe we weren't following acquisition protocols, that we didn't ask permission. We were doing what the Chief of Staff of the Army calls exercising discipline initiative, or sometimes he calls it discipline disobedience, depending on what you want to call it. But we understood his intent, and that is to get smarter, agile, faster, and leverage technology to make the Army more effective. And so that's what we're trying to build on, and we realize that we can't do it by ourselves. So we've got a lot of smart, talented, energetic young soldiers that want to make the Army better. They are closest to the problem. They've got some great ideas. They just need to be heard. But then they're finding that pathway to what do you do with that good idea? How do you turn it into reality? How do you find the 3D printer or the laser etcher and start to prototype and iterate and build things that we can eventually pass on to the United States Army to pick up in those acquisition channels and produce and then field to the rest of the Army. So that's what we're trying to do. That's where Vanderbilt came in as a willing partner with great resources, great intellectual capital, a lot of energy, and a willingness to partner with the United States Army to make us all better. I think there's the obvious advantage of this partnership and just helping us, make a better widget. But there's also, the relationship now that we're building between Fort Campbell and Vanderbilt University, which exists, but I think we're just strengthening that relationship. We're bringing our military and the civilian communities that we serve closer together, and I think that's a beautiful byproduct of this whole thing. And now, with the signing of this educational partnership agreement, it formalizes the process because we're an organization with a long-term vision with short-term employees. So we come and go. We're here for about 2 years, and we move on to the next assignment. But because of this partnership now, this agreement, this relationship will continue, and it's been formalized. And oh, by the way, we have top cover, so when we go out and we collaborate and we do things like come up, build demo kits and blow them up out the range without asking for permission, it's all under the auspices of collaboration and innovation. And it's, I won't get fired for it. My successor. But this wouldn't have been possible without Vanderbilt, and it would not have been possible without the Army Futures Command. And specifically, I forgot to mention him in the beginning, Mr. Jay Harrison, who's going to come up and give remarks too, has been an absolute accelerant in this process. Working with the staff down there, it's a startup organization, as you know. They just stood it up. It's not even a year old yet down in Austin, Texas. And he brings with him a lot of experience, a lot of energy, expertise, and a vision for how we need to make this thing work. And then if we do this right, if we use this model correctly, we can scale this across the entire United States Army. 10 divisions, every division should have a partner like Vanderbilt, where we can collaborate and find ways to make us better. So once again, thank you to everybody here that's been a part of this process. I look forward to spending the day with you. And Air Assault, Rock Hassan, anchor down.